Now that I'm out of the habit of subjecting myself to the weeklies and waiting till it's finished, I can now do my video on Ms. Marvel. I love this series, and I thought it was great for what it was trying to do. It stars Iman Vellani, Rish Shah, Matt Lintz, Zenobia Shroff, Angela Bimani pops up. So many people here I have seen in other works and loved what they did, and it's so nice to see them doing different things here, sort of new characters. And whilst we've had non-white characters in the MCU for a while, it's not really been quite so culturally focused. Maybe in Moon Knight you could argue there's a lot of obviously Egyptian stuff in there, but this is very much a brown girl from Jersey with Pakistani heritage, and it explores what that means. I am from Britain, and I don't agree with the idea of holding people of a newer generation responsible for things that happened in the past. These people living now did not directly contribute to those issues. But that doesn't mean that we can't sympathise and we can't understand why people might be annoyed in general at a country or a people. So I wasn't really aware, because history books don't often tell about things that portray the country who's reading those history books as the bad guy. I wasn't super aware of all of the issues of British India. I knew that there was, the rule over there, and eventually we kind of went, okay, yeah, kind of go your own way. We've messed you up enough. But I didn't realise just how bad things were, and I didn't realise that the issues, to put it mildly, between India and Pakistan were so heavily entrenched in this partition that we see a little bit of. There was a religious divide. You had secular people, you had Hindus, Muslims, whatever else. But there was this friction, and British rule didn't really do anything to help that at all. It very much probably did the opposite. But this was a very difficult time, so when it came to giving this land back to this people, that's when it was a case of, well, we need to split this off. So Pakistan was mostly where the Muslims were going to be, and India would become a secular country with a Hindu majority. But families were uprooted, they were divided, they were torn apart, if we're going to put it very, very plainly. And I didn't expect a Marvel property, let alone a Marvel TV series, to get me interested in history and to make me feel sorry for this horrible situation that happened in the late 40s. I wasn't even alive then, but I felt so bad for anyone who's lived what this story is telling us. Families still today are still bearing those scars. And that's not good. I definitely believe that, we'd be a much better world if we could all come together and reconcile our differences where possible. But there are things that just go so deep and so far. But like I say, a Marvel TV show is giving me this. But on top of that, we do have the wonderful charisma that is Iman Vellani. There's a great line that I ended up doing a bit of research on, because when she's accused of being American, she's like, I could be Canadian. And in fact, Iman Vellani herself is. I have this weird thing. As someone who is non-binary, I tend to not consciously, but find trans people, non-binary people, etc. You find your crowd. But I don't seek them out. It just happens weirdly, organically. Same with Canadians. I really like Canadians. Every time I see a Canadian in something, I'm like, I like this person, and I find out they're Canadian. I'm like, okay, that's why. It's a weird thing. And Iman Vellani is, again, someone on that list. But she carries this show so well as its lead. She does so much to endear you to the character. And, okay, this 6-episode run can be argued as literally just setting up the Marvels. But I think that's a very cynical way of looking at it. I definitely think it was more than that. This was a tale about a family history that I think people need to know about. Now that I'm aware of it, I think people need to know about this. How did I, in the country that contributed to this issue, not know about it until Marvel told me? That's not good. But she does so well, and all of her co-stars are so great in this. I mentioned Zenobia Shroff at the start as one of the actors I name because she has such a warm but firm presence as Muniba. Everyone here, you can believe this is a family. You can believe these people are friends. And that to me is a sign of good casting as much as good writing. Obviously, the words down on the page, if they don't work, then no matter how good you are as an actor and how good the chemistry is, it isn't going to work. But everything here was so well done. The music was great as well. I do have a love for this kind of music. Not as a, appropriation style thing. It's appreciation. It's why I never do covers of things like this, because I know it would be wrong. I can't replicate it in a way that seems right. I'd love to in some ways, but it'd be a great challenge, but I don't want to annoy people. I'll do the occasional weeby thing of a Japanese cover, that's fine. But everything about this series just ticked all the right boxes for me. And even that little sting at the end, when we get the actual, real, proper setup for the Marvels. But this was a fun ride. 6 episodes, it doesn't take that long. If you're the kind of person who waits until a series has ended before jumping onto it, then yeah, what better time than now? It's out now. I haven't spoiled too much, hopefully, in this already, although I have spoiled that end bit. Sorry, but I do always put spoilers ahead at the start. But if you haven't seen it, give it a go. If you liked it, let me know what you think in the comments. If you didn't like it, if you think I'm completely wrong for loving it, let me know that too. You're wrong, but you have your opinions and you're entitled to. But that's all I'm going to say about Ms. Marvel. I can't wait for what's coming next. But until then, as always, thank you for watching and take care.